welcome back, Shady here. So for today's video, I'm going to be doing another 5 games to add to your 360 collection. The reason why it's 5 is just because it's an easier number to remember. You know, it sticks to your head really. And obviously the reason why I'm going for another 360 collection is because it's the console that I collect for the most right now. It's my favourite one to collect for. The games are stupid cheap. There's loads of great stuff out there, tons of variety. And the first game I'm going to talk about is actually Dynasty Warriors Strike Force. So if you don't know, Dynasty Warriors, or you know, these types of games are Musha games, which is essentially like one dude versus an army. Usually have like loads of different characters. You'll have the Dynasty Warriors series is basically I think it's the Three Kingdoms or something, like a famous Chinese kind of story. I think it's somewhat based on reality. I can't remember, or is it Chinese or Japanese? I can't remember, but yeah, it's Chinese. So yeah, Samurai Warriors is the Japanese one because there's like 2 different franchises. So yeah, in this one, obviously you have the Three Kingdoms. You have people from each. You know, you have characters, tons of characters from each army. You pick one, and then you basically go through the story with them. Yeah, each one has its unique weapons and does certain attacks. You have a map, which is your level, and then you have to basically clear that map. You know, you go from point A to point, well, it points you in the direction of where to go. You have a gauge on the top. As you kill them, it goes more towards your favour. And then you usually have to finish off by fighting like a boss type character, which is usually one of the other playable characters from a different army. So they're really fun games. This one is actually a port of like an updated port of a PSP game, really. So may not be the best looking one, but it's still fun and it's really cheap. So, you know, go on it. Next, I want to talk about a third-person shooter, one that is kind of forgotten, and that is Max Payne 3. So as you know, you had the first 2 Max Payne games. They were on the original Xbox. I think also they were on PS2 as well. Obviously, the third game was for PS3 and 360. And the thing is, this game, we kind of see like Max a few years later, I mean, he's always been a bit jaded, but even more jaded and miserable than before. He's taken up this job as like a bodyguard, and then obviously he has to fight a load of people. You know, I'll just show you the back there. You get to see him with like in Joe Rogan mode or something, as I call it. He has like a bald head. He looks like some guy who's you know, like a roid head or something. But yeah, it's a great game anyway. The gameplay's on point as always. The graphics look incredible, and it's very stylish. It feels almost like a Michael Mann or sort of that type of movie or something. Very fun though, and obviously this was the last game in the series. I think they are rebooting it or something. I remember hearing. I don't know if that's actually concrete. I could check. I haven't. You can check yourself, I suppose. But yeah, awesome game anyway. Really cheap, and yeah, I don't think it's getting ported or anything. So pick it up. Next, I want to talk about a fighting game, one that I really love, which is BlazBlue Calamity Trigger. So this is basically the spiritual successor to BlazBlue. So basically what happened was Arc System Works, I think they like lost the rights to BlazBlue for a little time. So they basically created their own version of it, or like a successor to it, which was this game. This is the first game in the series. This one is obviously, doesn't have as many characters and whatnot as the later games, because you have like, I think there was like 4 or 5 on this generation. But I just really love this one. I have a lot of nostalgia for this one because of all those other ones. This one's like super cheap. I think I might got it for like £3 or something. So, but it's a really, really solid game. The one thing to remember though, if you've played some of the newer ones, I can't remember what you call them, but you had these special moves. They're essentially like these like almost insta-kill type moves, but you have to, and then there has to be some variables, but you have to like complete the arcade or story mode to unlock each character as one of those. So, but yeah, it's really great. Obviously, like I said, it actually has an arcade mode, a story mode. You've got your versus online, blah, blah, blah. You may find people playing online as well, possibly, I don't know. Obviously, another thing, which was really cool, if you're interested in collecting, I believe this version, or this one anyway, they did a bundle that came with a really cool fight stick, an 8-button arcade stick, which is cool for the 360 and I think the PS3 as well. So, you know, if you're willing to look for that, pay a bit more for premium, it's a cool thing. I can't remember what I think it definitely had Noel on it. It may have had this as the design or something, or just a few random characters, but it's really cool anyway. But yeah, that's number 3. Now the 4th game we're going to talk about is actually a compilation. Because obviously this generation there was like tons of these HD sort of compilations that they used to do all the time. It was almost like we could call it the remaster generation or the HD upgrade generation. There was like loads of them. They did like a Tomb Raider one. I think there was like a Prince of Persia one. That might have just been PS3. And then there was like loads of just these compilations. The Metal Gear Solid one, which is amazing, one of the best God of War games, blah blah blah. But what I want to talk about is actually the Dreamcast collection. Yeah, this is a really cool one. So in this one, you get 4 games. I'm going to show you the back of it. Hopefully you can see. So yeah, you get Crazy Taxi, Sonic Adventure, Space Channel Part 2, and Sega Bass Fishing. Obviously, these games are available on Xbox Live Arcade and PlayStation Network, but for some reason they only did a physical version of this for the 360, and obviously I get the feeling that because it's already started with both of these consoles where they're delisting things. I think Sony have been slowly doing it, and they were going to close down the PS3 and Vita stores like a couple of years back, but they decided not to, and I think Microsoft like a few months back like delisted 100 games or something. So yeah, these are the only like HD the few HD Dreamcast games that exist. You do also have the Shenmue collection on PS4 and Xbox One. Yeah, I would say snap this up while it's available because it's still really cheap. I think I got this for a £5. Give it, you might have to pay a little bit more, a little bit less. But I think snap it up quickly because one of those games are delisted. I think this is going to go up. And they're 4 really good games as well. So, yeah, I think, if I'm correct, I think Space Channel 5 Part 2 alone is like a ridiculously expensive game if you want it on the original Dreamcast. So you can get it for a fraction of the price, plus these other 3 amazing games. Yeah, these really were like fun games. Just, you would just pour tons of hours just into Crazy Taxi alone. Sonic Adventure is probably like a 20+ hour game, because you've got like 6 or so characters, even more than that I think, all have their own like 3 to 4 hour campaign or something like that. Sega Bass Fishing is just a lot of fun. Obviously on the original Dreamcast, you can use that cool actual fishing controller thing, which you can't on this, but it's still fun. And Space Channel 5 is just a really like kooky, fun kind of game. Quirky, sorry, not kooky. Kind of like this dancing rhythm game, but very stylish. The Dreamcast was just such an amazing era for Sega, and it's just great to have like one of the few compilations out there. So next up, I want to talk about a character action game or hack and slash game, one of my favorites. Obviously it's one of my favorite series, in fact, Devil May Cry 4. So obviously, you had the first 3 Devil May Cry games that were on the PS2, and then obviously they moved on to the MT framework, which was the engine used for like Lost Planet, Resident Evil 5, tons of their games during that generation. It was basically the engine they used before coming up with the RE engine, which was like Resident Evil 7 went on. But yeah, they did Devil May Cry 4, so they wanted to change things up slightly. So you don't actually play as Dante, at least initially. You play as this kid called Nero. So to set the stage for you, we start off on this sort of abandoned, well, it's just like, it's a little island, and then we follow this kid Nero, where they're kind of in this church, listening to this kind of like choir sort of thing, and then all of a sudden Dante comes flying out from above and starts just killing dudes. So they set it up that Dante is the villain. So then you have to play as Nero and fight with Dante. So one of the first battle or the first stage in this game is you actually fighting Dante, which is really cool. I'll show you the back there. You can see them squaring off. But obviously there's more to it than that. I feel like the thing is with this game, I don't want to spoil too much, but halfway through you kind of play as a second character and you're basically replaying the same levels again. So I think for a lot of people they felt like it was kind of a half-assed game, but the combat is really on point. It runs perfectly, looks stunning. It's just a lot of fun. Nero actually has this little claw called the Devil Bringer, which allows him to pull enemies towards him or go towards them and like grab them and do cool moves. Now obviously if you play Devil May Cry 5 you'll know how Nero plays anyway, but yeah, this was like his first game. It's an awesome game. You do also have the HD version on Xbox and Xbox One and PlayStation 4, which added some extra characters, and I think it's 1080p. But you can't get a physical version of that one. So yeah, pick this up. There is also a Steelbook version too. I have that one for PS3. It's really cool. Comes with this like little art book type of thing. It's not a hardcover one, unfortunately, but it's a thing to look out for. Also, I think the HD version kind of made the game a little easier as well. I think you can change the difficulty on it. I know I'm going off on a weird tangent talking about these gameplay things and whatnot, but yeah, it's a great game anyway. It's awesome. Definitely add it to your collection. I played this like millions of times when it came out. I played it on PS3 originally, but then yeah, it's just a cool game, man. Also, yeah, you do get like, you know, the what do you call them, achievements and stuff. So if you're interested in looking for that, you got that here as well. I mean, that's the same with all these games, but you know. Anyway, that's it for the list. I hope you enjoyed. Good luck collecting. Obviously, you know, I could do tons more of these 360 videos or any real consoles that I have. But yeah, anyway, have a great rest of the day, and I'll catch you in the next one.